Good morning, everybody. I thought I'd give you a garden tour today. See what everything looks like since the rain came through. Feels real good out here today. The wind's blowing a little bit. I got little Lucky at my feet. He's already been fed, him and there comes the little buddy running, and he just ate. I just put food in their bowls. They just a few minutes got finished eating. But look there at my caladiums. Aren't they pretty? I love the leaf on the caladium. My clematis. Yeah, I got the purple back. I thought the package said red, but I don't know what happened with the red. It's ended up being purple and like a pink color. My hollyhocks. They're not blooming right now, but aren't they pretty? Little buddy. Got to get out of my way. Look at him. Him and Lucky, they walk with me when I do my garden tours or do any work in the garden. They're right there with me. And there's my caladiums out here. I think they're doing pretty good considering the heat we've had. And I got some up here. They could look better, but it's been awfully hot on them until we got this rain. He's right there walking with me. They'll take every step I do. They're afraid they're going to miss something if they don't follow me. And I got some caladiums out there. Not as many as I wanted. I was afraid kind of to put them out here because of the heat. I got a couple over there on the other side. But these that get a lot of shade are doing the best. Look at this. They got to come right along with me on my garden tour. Little buddy. And see, I got one there that's just now coming up. But it'll be pretty. And my Mexican plants are blooming. There's little pink flowers. That's that Mexican plant that I can never think of the name of. And there's some there getting ready to bloom. Let's see, I think I'll go around this way. But I got caladium over here too. But I think I should have got more. I didn't have enough. But I got two of them coming up, the pink and then the white. And this other flower, it has little tiny yellow flowers on it. Isn't that pretty? I wish they were bigger. But it does have flowers. They're just little tiny ones. You can see the color of the new house. It's got tan siding on it, and they put a black shingle roof on. They're not finished with it, but it's been raining, so they can't work on it. I've got caladiums here, but they don't look too good. But they've come up, they're alive. Look at there. I did all that spraying for ants. And look at these ant hills since it rained. And there's my sweet potatoes. And I just trimmed them, and look at the vines. Just trimmed them up, and look at the vines are going crazy all over again. And that pot of sweet potatoes. Yeah, I'm going to have to trim the vines up again. They were rooting down on the ground. And I don't want them to do that because sweet potatoes will take over your yard if they live. I mean, I don't know if they would live next summer, you know, through the heat, but yeah, Lucky, that's right. I tell you, they stay right with me. They stay right with me when I'm walking around the garden. They're right at my feet. And look at there, more ants. More ants right there. I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to put out more poison, I guess. My poor tomato plant. That's one that I forgot to tie up yesterday when I was out here. It was bent over. But it's getting blooms on it, so maybe I'll have some tomatoes off of it. Oh, this one's on the ground. I'll have to come back out here and tie these up. I was out here yesterday and I tied up a bunch, but I forgot about this one. I guess I thought I already had it. But this is the plant that I had my big bell peppers on, and I've already picked them. I haven't cooked them yet, but I did pick them because they were getting so big and the plant was getting so top heavy. And there's one there. You can see how they get top heavy and they want to fall over. So if you don't stake them up, they'll fall on the ground. I don't see any peppers in there. But I got more peppers coming on these. All my hot peppers are getting more peppers. And my purple walking stick kale. I'm going to have to come out here and pick some of the leaves and off of my kale or my cabbage and collards and see if I can do a recipe with them. But look how tall these are. They're taller than my head. My rosemary's looking good. There, I didn't get that one yesterday. I just put that inside of the... But I have a tomato. I got peppers. Yeah, you have to help even bell pepper because the plant gets so big. And there's a pepper. That's Serrano, I think. I got a couple of those in there. Those big fat peppers. They're a little hot, but they're good peppers to have. And see my blooms on my tomatoes? Since the weather's cooled off a little bit. I mean, some of the plant looks pretty bad, but it's still going to produce tomatoes before cold weather. Look at this one. Fell over. And look at that pepper plant right there. See, that's what I'm talking about. They'll fall over. And if you don't stake them up a little bit, they end up on the ground or broke off. And there's my basil. Look how tall that thing got. And we cut it off at the base. I need to harvest some and dry some more, I guess. But this is a bell pepper plant here. It's got a big one over here. You know, I planted orange, gold, yellow, red, and green. But look at that basil plant. Caladium. Got a caladium here growing with my mandevilla. That's a yellow mandevilla, I think. Trying to get it to go up the... Look at this. Are you comfortable? Huh? Are you comfortable? And see, I got pepper plants planted here all along my cinder blocks, and that one's fell over. Yeah, I got to come out here and see that down on the ground. Prop it up on that for the time being. But look at that caladium. Isn't that pretty? I planted some at the base of my clematis. That's a beautiful caladium right there. That's one bulb that I planted. And look at the pretty leaves on it. I got bell peppers coming on that right there. Let's go through here. And this is a bell pepper, but something's been eating on it. And I haven't seen any worms, so it's got to be the grasshoppers. I mean, look at that. That poor plant. See if I can prop it up here. So hopefully it won't fall down so bad. Oh, heck. I always say I'm not going to do this when I go on a garden tour, but I always find so many things that need to be done. And see, this wind is not helping. But it feels great. Pepper right there. There's a pepper there turning red. Look at this one. This is one of those. No, that's bell pepper. I got 3 little bell peppers right there. 4 or 5. They're just not quite big enough. I don't want to break that off. But see my blooms coming on my tomatoes? And that poor basil there has just fell over. It's got so top heavy. Let me shorten this thing so I can do a better job with maneuvering it around in here. But I've got rutabaga. It's forming a bulb. More peppers here, and see how they're falling over. They just get so top heavy. They fall over. Look how tall that one is. And that's one of the biggest tomato cages, and it's already 1.5 feet taller than the tomato cage. It's got a pepper on it too. Blooms for my tomatoes right there. This one up here is full of blooms. So I'm going to have a lot more tomatoes pretty soon. My peppers. Yeah, it's good if you plant bell peppers to put them in a tomato cage. That's so you don't have to tie them. You can just let them grow up inside the cage. And it helps keep them from breaking off when the wind blows real hard. And look at this. There's my tomatoes. I've got a string going from one trellis to the other to help support them because they get so long. And see, they're going to have a lot of tomatoes pretty soon. These, I tried to stake them up yesterday, but they're so heavy in these shallow pans that the, let me see if I can fix this. I always say I'm not going to do this, and I do it every time. The stake doesn't go down deep enough in the pot to really hold it good. And the weight of that pepper plant just pulls it right over. And it's going to be even more top heavy when it's full of peppers, which will be pretty soon because look at the blooms. All of these have blooms. Or see little peppers. That one has a pepper up there. And it's got more blooms. That one's got blooms. And see, something was eating that. It was a grasshopper. It had to be. Because I have not seen any worms in my garden. It's a grasshopper. Or locusts, or whatever you want to call those things that eat your plants. And look at this hot pepper plant. How big it is. And it's full of peppers. There's another bell pepper. I got an ant on me. Yeah, I got rid of all my ants and then it rained and all the ants have come back up from under the rocks. I don't know if this is a hot pepper or not. Let me try it. I planted banana peppers, but I have yet to find them. I don't know if these are the banana peppers or not. Hey, yeah, those are my sweet banana peppers right there. I love those. Woo! Nope, they're hot. I bit into it again and it like to kill me. Oh, that's hot. Y'all laugh at me. That was hot. Woo. That's a hot banana pepper. See, I had to stake these up. I mean, they're full of blooms, so they're going to have tons of peppers. That pepper just gave me the hiccups. Look at all the bell pepper there. Look how tall this one is. It's a foot over my head, and it's got bell pepper on it. Oh man, that pepper was hot. And my cucumbers are done. I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to pull all those vines out and put them in the compost for these buckets. I'll get out here one of these days and do the buckets. They got rainwater in them too. And this little plant is full of blooms for bell peppers. And it's got bell pepper on it too. Both of them have. Look at this. My walking onions are looking good. I picked all the tomatoes that were out here that were ripe. I still got green ones. But here's jalapenos. Maybe I'll get enough before cold weather that I'll be able to make some cowboy candy. I see a ripe tomato over there. I need to go get it. And look at this. This is full of blooms and bell pepper. They're just not quite big enough to pick. And there's my very first Egyptian walking onions. That's the very first tub of them that I ever planted. And see, these tomatoes have got blooms. So I'm definitely going to have the tomatoes before cold. And I got some eggplant. There's one I see on this one. It's got more blooms. And I may end up with one or two off of this plant. But I got one here. Pretty eggplant. And I got one here started. And another one right there. And I got one over there. So I'll have eggplant. Oh, there's one down here. And there's more bell pepper. And it's full of blooms and more coming, so. And you see my ripe tomato right through there? I need to get over there and get it. And I don't know what this is growing in my compost pile. I don't know if it's cucumbers, pumpkins, watermelon, squash. I don't know. I need to put more dirt in there and rake up some more leaves and put in there. Yeah, the bottom of the tomato plants look kind of raggedy, but look at the tops. They're going to have quite a few more tomatoes before our first freeze. And there's some red peppers in there. Those are really hot. Let me get my tomato. It's just before busting open. And I don't want it to bust open because it was so dry and then we got so much rain. I'll get the peppers another time. But yeah, that's what I've been thinking about. I haven't put holes in the bucket yet. I'm still debating if this is what I want to do. But at least that way I can cover whatever's in there if I need to. And it'll be portable. I can move it later really easy without having to dig up dirt and move dirt. I just pick up the buckets and move them. So that's just kind of what's going through my mind. I was thinking I might just use it to transplant collards. Maybe put one collard plant in each bucket. I don't know, because collards can get pretty big. I just don't know. And I'm going to have these buckets too to transplant something in for fall as soon as I get all this cleaned up. So we'll see. I mean, my collards probably won't get as big here as they do everywhere else, but collards will get pretty big. And here's the last Egyptian walking onions that I planted. You know, from the babies, the little baby bulbs off of the plants that I had. My tree collard. It's getting pretty tall. I need to take the leaves off of that and fix a recipe with it. And here's more bell pepper. I ended up planting bell pepper in all of my cinder blocks. I didn't expect them to get so big. I figured, well, the heat here in Texas would stunt their growth. They're not going to get great big, but they did. They got great big. And look at this. Ants. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, y'all. But I do have to come out here and spray for these ants. They started down there too. But look at my kale and my peppers. See, I got a bell pepper right there. Bell peppers here. Some up here. These are the orange ones. Well, they turn orange. They start green, but they turn orange. And there's another walking stick. It's like a collard, but it grows up like a tree collard. And see, these leaves, I can do some stuff with these. Look how tall that is. And where I broke leaves off of the bottom of it, it's putting out more leaves. And something is eating my Ponderosa pink tomato vine. Look at that. Something's eating it, but I don't see a worm. I have not seen one worm. So I don't know what's eating it. I can't wait to see some tomatoes on here and see something's eating it up there. I'm going to have to spray it. Because I had them sprayed, and then with it raining, it washes the spray off of them. But they're blooming. I got blooms up there. So I should have some tomatoes. And those were my Ponderosa pink, I think. And I've never grown a Ponderosa pink before. Isn't that crepe myrtle pretty? And look at all the morning glory blooming again. Look at all of it. I try to keep it mowed back from my walk here, but I can't get all the way to the property line because there's so many big rocks and boulders. I can't run the mower back here. But you can see I do keep it mowed back. At least so I got a path to walk behind the shed. And look at it all the way over on the other lot. Isn't that something? And that's beautiful right there. I mean, all of it is. But look at that. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? All back there. Look at that. It's beautiful, but I'll tell you what, that morning glory will grow rampant. It just takes over everything. It's going up all the trees. I mean, it's beautiful, but I don't want it on my garden plants. It'll kill my garden plants. But it is pretty. Look at it all the way over here. Isn't that something? And I've seen pictures posted on Facebook a lot where they're asking, because they've got this growing in their yard this year, and they're asking, does anybody know what this vine is? It's morning glory is what it is. It's wild morning glory. Look at it all there. Isn't that beautiful? They decide to put a house over here, they'll push all that off. I know. But it is pretty. And see, it's all here behind my greenhouse right here. And like I said, I try to keep it mowed. And there's another anthill. Oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm going to do. I thought I got rid of them when I sprayed the other day, but the rain, it caused every one of them to come out of the ground that was hidden under the rocks under the ground. Isn't that pretty? It's beautiful, y'all. And this tomato plant is full of blooms. The one that came up in the raised bed here, it was a volunteer tomato plant, and I left it. It's full of blooms. And I planted my carrot and my radish in here. I don't know if they'll come up, but I see some of them sprouted already. Look at that. That's radish sprouts. The carrots haven't come up, but the radishes are. Look at all those sprouts. Am I doing it right, little buddy? I tell you, they follow me around. Just like a little kid. They're right at my feet. And here's Lucky right behind me. And I still got my mulch in there. There's just not enough time for me to get everything done. And see, this pepper plant, I stripped it. I picked every pepper there was on it. Oh, my ants are getting all over me. And I didn't think I'd have ants out here after spraying. But oh, was I wrong. I didn't put my boots on. This pepper plant is full of these hot peppers again. And full of blooms. Oh, my tomato plants. Don't want it to fall. See, these tomatoes have got blooms. They're all putting out blooms now since the weather's cooled off a tiny bit. And that pot of peppers is coming back out. And this pepper plant is putting out peppers again. It's got a bunch on it already. My turnips, hopefully they will turn into turnips before long. Those are those yellow turnips. And see here, look at all the blooms. See, that's why I don't get rid of my tomato plants when it gets real hot. They stop producing, but as soon as it starts to cool off, they'll put out another whole crop of tomatoes. And there's a bell pepper. And there's my hillbilly tomato plant. I'm hoping it'll put out a couple more tomatoes. My peppers. I think that's a bell pepper. My clematis up there. Can't really see it from this side, but there you go. There's, I think that's a bell pepper too. And my flowers in the bottom. And there's my Rose of Sharon. It's about 4 foot tall now. And my okra plant. That's a volunteer okra, I think. My rose bushes are looking kind of straggly, but I got still 2 alive on this side. And I got the one over here. And of course the other ones that are around. But see, since the rain, how it's coming back to life. It's putting out new growth. And I don't remember what tomato this is, but it's putting out blooms. So I guess I'll find out. My okra. Look how big my okra's gotten. My tree collards. Something's eating them up. But like I said, I have not seen any worms. I don't know. It's got to be the locusts or grasshoppers. See, this is the only thing you got to worry about with morning glory. It gets in your yard. It gets in your garden. And it'll strangle out your plants if it gets on it. Just like this one's climbing up my okra. I mean, they're pretty, but it'll eventually strangle out this okra plant if I leave it on there. So if you see it growing up your garden plants, you need to get it off because it will strangle it out. It'll kill the plant. It's like I need to come get some okra again. Got a couple more on here that I can cut. These are really hot peppers here. I mean, really hot. And these little things, oh my gosh. They're purple. I tell you what, these are dangerous. These little purple ones, those are dangerous right there. They're so hot. My catnip come back in my onions. Lucky I can't walk for you getting in between my feet. I'm going to step on you. I planted my collard seed in this tote. It's not coming up yet, but hopefully it will. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this pot. Every time it rains, all the dirt washes to this end. And there's my red bell pepper. And my morning glory's taking over my watermelon vines. There's not a thing I can do about it. I got lantana back there. My banana trees. My purple kale. Walking stick kale is whatever they call it. I got blooms on that. But everything in here is living. Peppers, tree collards, tomatoes. And all of these are getting so big, it's ridiculous. All right, well, I guess that's going to end the tour for today. And there's the mum we planted the other day. I still haven't planted the rest of them, but I will. So y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye now.